There's a photo. Maybe you've seen it. Amanda Bynes, wrapped in a cheap, scratchy blanket, sitting alone on a Los Angeles curb at 2:38 in the morning. Her hair is gone, her eyes wild and vacant. She's clutching a dog, talking to no one, staring at nothing. But here's what they don't show you: what happened 20 minutes before that picture was taken. What happened 3 months before that, or 3 years. What they never tell you is how a girl who once made the whole country laugh quietly stopped laughing herself. Amanda Bynes wasn't just a teen star, she was the teen star. Nickelodeon, blockbusters, fashion covers, red carpets, and then nothing. A few headlines, a few arrests, a few rumors that didn't quite stick. And then a different kind of silence. A dangerous kind. The kind that makes you wonder, did anyone ever really know her? Tonight we're not chasing a tabloid. We're stepping into the slow unraveling of a life. One mistake at a time, one call for help too late, and one girl who disappeared without ever leaving. This is the story of Amanda Bynes, the breakdown, the silence, the truth. Los Angeles, 1996. Nickelodeon is at its golden peak. Kids across America gather after school, microwaved snacks in hand faces glued to CRT TVs. And there, in the middle of it all, bright, sharp, funny, stands a 10-year-old Amanda Bynes. She's not just reading lines, she's electric. On all that, she's the kid who can outact the adults. By the Amanda Show, she's creating characters that feel too good for kids' TV skits that will be quoted for decades. Ask any millennial, they'll still remember. Ask Ashley. She becomes the girl every producer wants. Amanda doesn't just do comedy, she lives in it. Her timing is surgical, her charm is effortless, and for a while, everything works. She moves to film. Big Fat Liar with Frankie Muniz. What a Girl Wants. She's the Man. Hairspray. Each one solidifies her place not just as a child star, but as a legitimate Hollywood lead. The girl from TV is now the woman on posters in Times Square. But off-camera, Amanda is cracking. The pressure to look perfect, the scripts that aren't written for her but for a version of the quirky white girl producers think she should be. The scrutiny of growing up under spotlights so hot they melt your sense of self. Around 2007 she starts to retreat. She quits acting, publicly, says she's not enjoying it anymore. She's only 21. The world shrugs. People retire, people burn out. They assume she'll be back. But she doesn't come back, she begins to drift. Her once playful interviews become cautious. She avoids cameras, cancels appearances, and by 2009 her name starts appearing in very different kinds of headlines. But let's rewind. Because before Amanda Bynes became a case study in Hollywood tragedy, she was just a girl. A little girl from Thousand Oaks, California. The youngest of 3. The daughter of a dentist and a dental assistant. A girl who made her family laugh so hard during dinner that her parents decided to drive her to LA again and again just so someone would see her light. They didn't imagine she'd catch fire. They didn't know she'd burn out this fast. The truth is, no one meant to hurt Amanda. No single person broke her. But when enough people ask you to become someone you're not, eventually you start to disappear. And that disappearance didn't happen all at once. It was slow, invisible, and in plain sight. It started with a wig. Blonde, synthetic, a little too shiny. Amanda wore it while driving alone through Hollywood in the middle of the night. The paparazzi snapped photos through the windshield. She was talking to herself, or maybe to someone who wasn't there. The tabloids had a field day, but no one asked why she was wearing the wig, or why she was whispering in the drive-thru. At first it looked like harmless oddity. Celebrities have quirks, they lash out, they get tired. But Amanda wasn't just acting strange, she was slipping, and no one noticed how far. She began tweeting strange messages, not scandalous, just confusing. In 2012, she tweeted that she wanted rapper Drake to murder her vagina. It became a viral punchline, but no one asked what she meant. No one wondered why she kept deleting and reposting messages at 3 a.m. Then came the DUIs, 2 in 1 year. The mugshots showed a girl with hollow eyes, uneven eyeliner, and a disconnected expression. She told the police the charges were lies, told the judge she didn't need rehab, told the world she was fine. But she wasn't fine. She moved to New York, then back to LA. She would appear on camera, then vanish for weeks. Some days she'd tweet love letters to strangers. Other days she'd accuse her own parents of spying on her. She started a fire in a stranger's driveway, a small one, just flames in a gas can. When police arrived, they found Amanda alone, shoeless, holding her dog. No one knew what she was trying to burn, not even Amanda. When questioned, her answers didn't track. That was when the 5,150 hold came. Involuntary psychiatric hospitalization, 72 hours, then extended, then again. For the first time, Amanda's silence became official. The state ruled she couldn't speak for herself, couldn't sign legal papers, couldn't manage her own money. Her parents were granted conservatorship. It would last for years. But here's the part that chills. While Amanda was unraveling, the world was laughing. Memes, gossip, reaction videos dissecting her breakdown in real time. They called her the next Lindsay Lohan. They said she lost it. They made her pain into parody. But beneath the wigs, the tweets, the fire was someone crying out in a language only the broken can understand. Not for fame, not for forgiveness, just for help. She once said in an interview, "I don't know who I am without people telling me I'm funny." And now no one was laughing, not anymore. In the wake of Amanda's breakdown, everyone had a theory. Some blamed the paparazzi. Some pointed to the pressure of childhood stardom. Others whispered about drugs, trauma, schizophrenia. But there was no single answer, only fragments. People close to Amanda began coming forward carefully, quietly. An old co-star said she used to check out during rehearsals. A producer from The Amanda Show remembered how obsessed she was with getting her lines perfect. How could a kid that young be that afraid of messing up, he said. Amanda had always been high-functioning, polished, disciplined. Too disciplined, some would say. When she made her film debut, she was already worried about her weight, already asking about lighting and angles and if her face looked weird. Behind closed doors, she was taking Adderall. Prescribed, yes, but abused, possibly. She'd later say it made her feel more in control. But that control didn't last. The real clues came not from tabloids, but from her own words. Buried in a 2018 interview with Paper magazine, Amanda said something most people missed. "I saw myself in that movie and I didn't like what I saw. I literally couldn't stand my appearance. I went into a deep depression." She was talking about She's the Man, a hit comedy where she dressed as a boy. The role made her famous. But to Amanda, it was the beginning of the end. She confessed that seeing herself on screen triggered something, an image she couldn't accept, a version of herself she couldn't reconcile. That's when the spiral began. She quit acting soon after, tried fashion school, tried living alone, tried disappearing, but the damage was already done. Mental health experts watching from the outside speculated that Amanda's symptoms aligned with schizoaffective disorder, part bipolar, part schizophrenia. But there was no confirmation, no diagnosis released publicly, only court records sealed in confidentiality and Amanda's own uncertain words. Some insiders whispered that she was misdiagnosed. Others said her brain had simply short-circuited after years of pressure substance use and isolation. And then there was her family, her parents. They rarely spoke, but when they did, it was through lawyers, court documents, conservatorship filings. They said they were helping, protecting her, but Amanda sometimes said otherwise. In 2014, she tweeted that her father had abused her, then deleted it, then said a microchip in her brain made her say it, then deleted that too. No one knew what to believe, not even Amanda. And that's the scariest part. When a person's reality bends too far, even they stop trusting their own memories. The world kept watching, waiting for a redemption arc. But Amanda wasn't playing a character anymore. She wasn't acting. She was just trying to survive, one silent day at a time. After the fire incident in 2013 and the psychiatric hold that followed, Amanda Bynes all but vanished from the public eye. She stopped tweeting, stopped appearing, stopped explaining. Her name faded from the headlines. And when it did show up, it was often in whispers. Amanda Bynes seen leaving court. Amanda Bynes reportedly doing better. Amanda Bynes under extended conservatorship. But the urgency was gone. The world had moved on to the next public breakdown, the next tragedy, the next girl lost under the weight of being watched. Amanda became a ghost of the culture that once celebrated her. There were no red carpets, no roles, no interviews. Just a few grainy photos, Amanda walking alone with dyed pink hair and oversized sunglasses, sometimes clutching coffee, sometimes her face hidden beneath a hoodie, never smiling, rarely seen. The courts kept renewing her conservatorship. Her parents still had legal control over her finances, her medical care, even where she could live. And yet there was no scandal, no outcry, because Amanda wasn't fighting it publicly. She wasn't Britney. She wasn't staging protests or releasing documentaries. She was quiet, obedient, invisible. The silence spoke volumes. People speculated, she's probably better now. She's not causing problems, so she must be fine. But silence isn't always healing. Sometimes it's a symptom of exhaustion, of defeat. Amanda enrolled in fashion school in 2014. FIDM, the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising. It was a soft return to normal life. She said she wanted to be a designer, not a star. For a moment, things seemed stable. She attended classes, passed exams, spoke politely to classmates. But it was all surface, and surfaces can crack. In 2018, she gave that now famous Paper magazine interview, her first real public statement in years. She looked different, calmer, more polished. She talked about sobriety, about accountability, about how she wanted to reintroduce herself to the world. The interview was hopeful, reassuring. It made headlines again. Amanda Bynes is back. Amanda Bynes clean, clear and ready to work. But what most people didn't notice, what they missed, was the sadness behind her smile, the hesitation between answers, the eyes that looked grateful to be asked questions, but not quite sure how to answer them. She said all the right things, but she didn't say them like someone who believed them. She said them like someone who wanted to believe them. And then once again, Amanda disappeared. No new roles, no designs, no public reappearance. Just absence, as if the act of coming forward took everything she had, as if being seen even briefly reopened every wound. By 2020, even the media stopped asking. No more paparazzi, no more updates, no more curiosity. It was as if Amanda had stepped out of the story altogether. But silence doesn't mean peace, and absence doesn't always mean healing. Sometimes it's just the quietest way to scream. March 19th, 2023. At 6:45 a.m., a woman was seen walking barefoot near downtown Los Angeles. She wore a thin jacket disheveled with dark stains on the sleeves. Her hair was messy, eyes wide, expression blank. She waved down a passing car, told the driver she needed help, told them she had been wandering for hours, told them she had come out of a psychiatric episode. The woman was Amanda Bynes. No camera crews were there, no paparazzi, just a person on the edge finally reaching out. The driver called 911. Amanda was taken again under a 5,150, hold 72 hours of psychiatric care. The media picked up the story like a match to dry kindling. Amanda Bynes hospitalized again. Amanda Bynes found wandering naked. Amanda's breakdown continues. But this wasn't a breakdown. This wasn't a celebrity relapse. It was a signal flare, a moment of brutal honesty in a world still addicted to spectacle. Amanda had asked for help. Not in code, not in tweets, not in rage, just help. What made it all more haunting was the timing. The day Amanda was found, March 19th, exactly one day before the 10-year anniversary of the end of her conservatorship. 10 years since the state declared her competent enough to care for herself. 10 years since she was allowed to be free. And yet, there she was, barefoot, alone, asking strangers to save her. The paradox was deafening. Had freedom failed her? Had the system misjudged her capacity for healing? Or was this simply what healing looks like for some people, non-linear, broken, always unfinished? The public reaction was jarringly split. Some people responded with empathy. It's heartbreaking, they said. She needs protection. Others rolled their eyes. She's doing this again. Why doesn't she just stay in treatment? But mental illness isn't linear, and it doesn't care about your timeline or your hope or your patience. It comes quietly. It flares without warning. It hides behind good days, and sometimes it wins. In the weeks that followed, Amanda returned to outpatient care. No interviews, no Instagram lives, just silence. But for those paying attention, this wasn't just another episode. It was a reminder that fame is not freedom, that escape is not healing, and that sometimes the people who seem the most gone are the ones still trying the hardest to come back. The public wanted a happy ending, a comeback movie, a glossy photo shoot, a tearful apology and a clean slate. But Amanda wasn't performing anymore. She wasn't trying to impress anyone. She was just trying to exist on her own terms, whatever that looked like. And maybe that's the bravest thing she's ever done. The days following Amanda's 2023 psychiatric hold were quiet. No official statements, no press conferences, no paparazzi outside her home. Just rumors, just static. But behind the scenes, something had changed. Not in Amanda, in the people watching her. There was a shift, subtle but real. For the first time, the media didn't mock her. They hesitated. The same outlets that once ran headlines like Amanda Bynes loses it again now used words like mental health awareness, compassion, and trauma. And for the first time in a decade, people seemed willing to accept that Amanda Bynes didn't owe anyone a comeback. Not a performance, not a clean arc, not a movie-ready resolution. Just a life. Then came the twist, one so quiet most people missed it. 6 months after the incident, a short anonymous blog post appeared on a private fan forum. It wasn't flashy. It didn't promise bombshells. It simply read, "I used to walk with her, before the lights, before the screaming, before the wigs and fire. She was the smartest girl I'd ever met, the saddest girl too. And no one ever really asked her if she wanted to be famous. We just assumed she did." The post was signed, "A Classmate FIDM 2014. That single message sparked a wave of quiet reflections. Former classmates, old castmates, even a few crew members from her Nickelodeon days. They began to speak not to gossip columns but to each other. One described Amanda as hyper-aware of everyone's feelings except her own. Another said she could feel the room shift before anyone spoke. They all said some version of the same thing. She wasn't just acting, she was surviving. What came next wasn't a twist of events. It was a twist of perception. Amanda Bynes, once the punchline, the train wreck, the lost girl, was quietly being rewritten, not by tabloids, but by memory, by the people who had known her before. They described a girl who learned to be funny to stop people from fighting. A girl who obsessed over perfect takes, not because she was ambitious, but because she was afraid of disappointing someone. A girl who asked more than once if it was okay to say no on set, and when she finally did say no to scripts, to interviews, to Hollywood, the world didn't listen, it just labeled her broken. The real twist then wasn't that Amanda fell, it's that she was pushed, slowly, by 1,000 hands that all thought they were just brushing against her. The weight of a joke, the pressure of a brand, the expectation that she always be on. They didn't shatter her, they wore her down, until there was almost nothing left to break. But Amanda didn't vanish, not completely. In 2024, she quietly re-enrolled in courses. Art, not acting. Design, not drama. No red carpets, no press release, just effort, rebuilding grain by grain. She even submitted a short collection of sketches under a pseudonym. One was a drawing of a young girl inside a TV screen screaming. The title, Unmute Me. It didn't go viral, but maybe that's the point. Maybe healing doesn't need to go viral. Maybe the twist isn't a comeback. Maybe it's a choice to keep going even when no one's watching. Who was Amanda Bynes? The question sounds simple, but the answer has always been complicated. To some, she was a comic prodigy, a kid who could outact adults before she hit puberty. To others, she was a cautionary tale, another name on the long list of Hollywood burnouts. To the press, she was a headline machine. To fans, a nostalgic memory frozen in time. But to herself, Amanda once admitted she didn't know. In a rare therapy-approved appearance during her FIDM years, she told a classmate, "I was always someone's version of me." Her parents' version, Nickelodeon's version, the public's version, even her lawyer's version. But her version, that girl never had time to exist. Let's talk psychology. Amanda Bynes displayed symptoms over the years that suggest more than just addiction or burnout. The erratic behavior, the delusions, the paranoia, the disorganized speech, the waxing and waning lucidity. These aren't just side effects of fame, they're clinical indicators. Experts have floated diagnoses ranging from bipolar disorder to schizoaffective disorder, possibly with drug-induced psychosis complicating the picture. But the truth is, Amanda was never given the privacy or the space for a full public explanation. She never needed to explain. She needed to breathe. In mental health circles, her silence became a kind of sacred artifact proof that recovery doesn't always come with a press kit. Amanda's case highlights something rarely spoken aloud. Fame is trauma, especially when it starts too young. When your identity forms in front of cameras, directors, fans, and agents. When you are loved not for who you are, but for how well you disappear into someone else. Psychologists call this fragmented self-perception the inability to form a stable identity because every environment demands a different version of you. By the time Amanda reached adulthood, she had been a dozen girls, all of them real on screen, none of them real inside. She didn't rebel, she collapsed. And when she did, the world didn't reach out a hand. It reached for a headline. This is the quiet horror of celebrity breakdowns. They're consumed, not comforted. People didn't ask what happened to Amanda. They asked, where's the next Amanda? And yet, through it all, Amanda never vanished completely. She resurfaced in sketches, in anonymous essays submitted to online art collectives, in conversations overheard in community colleges. She still draws, still sews, still walks alone sometimes in LA with headphones in and no security near. There's no tour, no book deal, no third act. But there's breath, there's choice, there's existence. So who is Amanda Bynes? Maybe she's not a punchline, maybe she's not a tragedy. Maybe she's just a woman, trying, quietly, like so many others who never had their childhoods to themselves. And maybe that's enough. Amanda Bynes never died, but in a way the Amanda the world thought they knew did. She didn't vanish, she withdrew. Not in a blaze of glory, not in a press conference, but one slow breath at a time, until silence became her last remaining boundary. There's something deeply American about the obsession with comebacks. We want the rise, we accept the fall, but we crave the redemption. Amanda never gave us one. She didn't return for the applause. She didn't pose for glossy magazine covers to prove her progress. She simply chose to exist, away from the noise, away from the lens, away from us. And maybe that's what this story was always about. Not a fall, not a scandal, not even a tragedy, but a girl who grew up on a stage and finally found the courage to step off. So now the question remains, did Amanda Bynes disappear, or did we just stop knowing how to see her? If this story moved you, if you believe that silence doesn't always mean peace, and if you want more true stories told with care, depth, and dignity, consider subscribing to Deep Dive. We tell the stories others forgot, the ones whispered at 2 a.m. in the dark when no one's watching. Hit the bell, leave a comment, and share this video with someone who remembers Amanda, not the punchline, but the person. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and keep looking between the lines.